Hello, guys, and welcome to New York today. My name is Hani, and I am the Education USA advisor at the Fulbright Commission in Prague. And today I've got three special guests. I've got Jeffrey, Eleanor, and Odea. They are all Fulbright grantees in the Czech Republic, and they'll take us virtually to New York, United States of America. Thank you guys for joining, and we can start.
Okay. So I'll start. I went to school in North Carolina, but I grew up in New York, so I'm familiar with the schools there. And one school I visited when I was touring colleges was NYU, New York University. And this is a very unique sort of experience of a school. It's in the huge city of New York City, so you're around all those resources like Broadway and internships, these things. And it doesn't really have a campus feel. It's kind of superimposed into NYC's Greenwich Village. So definitely maybe not the right choice if you're looking for like sorority and Greek life and having that like campus feel. But also has its own business school and medical school. So those are great options if you want to go into those areas. And the medical school is famous for being one of maybe 2 or 3 that is completely free for all students. So that's a huge plus.
Okay.
It's a big one. It's very large sized, almost 250,000 students, with 21,000 international students. So quite a big percentage, and a good community of people, of international colleagues. There's a 21% acceptance rate, so hard to get into, but you will be around people that are bright and motivated. And again, just something to consider, the campus feel, if that's important to you, and also safety. Whether it's safe or not, sometimes I just never feel safe in a big city, even if it's completely safe. So if you're like me, maybe it's not a great choice, but definitely a super unique and cool school. And then all 3 of us are not from New York City. We're from beyond New York City. I'm from Syracuse. So I grew up with these beautiful state parks and trees that just look absolutely beautiful in the fall, and going to a different park every weekend. So my experience of New York isn't big city at all. It's really this beautiful landscape. And if you went from New York and you went on the same latitude all the way to the east, you'd hit the Czech Republic. So similar weather, except a lot more snow. We were talking about this earlier. We've got these enormous lakes, so just a lot more snow, which can be more fun and more pretty, I think. And Syracuse University, this was very close to where I grew up. It's a research university in upstate New York. It's known for its communications program. It's in the heart of Syracuse, which is about the same size as Ostrava, if you're wondering. And it's got quads and a campus feel. So I think Syracuse is kind of the best of both worlds. But maybe I'm biased. Very passionate about sports, especially football and basketball. They do really well, which always makes going to the games a little bit more fun. It is, and I guess it's battling with Buffalo every year, but the city with the most snow in the United States, and it's medium sized. So I'd call it like a in the middle school in all ways.
That's cool.
I can talk about
it. Should I jump in with Cornell?
Yes. Oh, yes, you probably can't see it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I see it. I just didn't know if I was supposed to jump in. But hi, whoever's watching, I'm Odea. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about Cornell. I am from downstate New York in Long Island, but I went to school upstate in Ithaca, and I absolutely loved my college experience at Cornell. It is an it's in a small town or small city. It's in Ithaca, New York. And it's definitely a campus culture. You're pretty isolated. It's a rural area. But because of that, everyone's super involved in campus life. People are really involved in student organizations and school sports and clubs. People live on campus for the majority of their undergraduate experience. And that's why I really loved it, is because I felt super involved in my college, and it was a very unique college experience. And I was immersed in it that way, as opposed to like a school like NYU, where you might be more involved in the city life as opposed to your campus. Cornell is part of the Ivy League system, so it's one of 8 Ivy League schools in the U.S. So making it a bit more on the competitive side, but definitely like a ton of resources and like help if you're interested in like the admissions process, things like that. It's a pretty big school, so there's about 16,000 undergraduates and more graduate students than that. I'm not quite sure the number, but there's about 4,000 undergrads per year, so per grade. And it's broken up into different schools. So I went to the College of Arts and Sciences, which is like a general, more liberal arts college in Cornell, but there's also other schools. So there's a business school or an agriculture school, a hotel school. So I think it's a really good place if you have a ton of different interests. You can kind of explore them that way. And then at the end, it's all part of the same university. I think, yeah, I don't know. I can't really say enough good things. I loved my experience, especially if you're Czech. I wanted to point out that it's a big ice hockey school, so we're really passionate about that. We even have some Czech players, and it's really exciting because everyone goes to all the games, and there's just a lot of fun traditions. But yeah, I loved it, and I hope anyone else would love it too.
So for you guys, of course, you can see it. Odeya is super passionate about Cornell, and I know many of you guys have Cornell on your college list. So if you guys have any questions for Odeya, please let me know. At the end, you will see the email address. And, you know, even if you have questions for Eleanor, it's not all about Cornell, but, you know, she was like, oh, I love it. So if you guys love it too, if you have it on your college list, please let me know, and I'll be happy to connect you with Odeya. And she might be able to connect you with her friends or with some international students, you know, so that's possible, of course.
Yes, please reach out. I'd love to talk about it.
Awesome.
Oh, I'll do that.
Dobry den. I'm Jeff Over. I'm a professor in geological sciences at SUNY Geneseo. Geneseo is one of 64 campuses in the SUNY system, which is the State University of New York, which is the largest university system in the United States. So somehow you would be able to find a connection at one of the schools. 4 are PhD granting institutions. 14 are just undergraduate institutions like Geneseo, where we're primarily undergraduate students. We specialize in education, communication, the sciences, business, and a sustainability major. Of course, there is ice hockey. All the SUNY schools play ice hockey. And then there's another 50-some two-year and technical colleges throughout the state. There's one under the Brooklyn Bridge in Brooklyn, New York, which is part of Greater New York City. But Geneseo itself is in a small historic village of 5,000 people. When the students show up, there's then 10,000 people in the village. And we're 30 minutes from the city of Rochester, which offers more cultural aspects, a symphony, museums, and the like. But Geneseo is just too small to have these. Toronto is 3 hours away, and New York City is 5 hours away. So if you go to Syracuse or Cornell, the 2 schools you saw, they're about 100 kilometers east from Geneseo. And then you keep on going through the Finger Lakes, and you end up in Geneseo. If you keep on going west, you'll end up in Buffalo and Lake Erie. And eventually you'll get to the little village of Fredonia, where there's also a small school where there's a little Czech enclave. So there's about 40,000 Czechs in all of New York State, and there's about 50 in Fredonia. The rest are on the Upper East Side, New York City. But the link is here on this picture. If you have any questions, you can certainly email me or follow up on what's here on this page.
Awesome. Right. Okay, so that brings us to the Next slide, Eleanor. You are the clicker person. All right. Thank you so much, Jeff, Eleanor, and Odea for taking us to a virtual tour around New York State and the New York colleges that are there. Guys, you can definitely choose from many more. Just Google them, research them on Big Future from College Board website. But if you are interested in these schools, you can definitely reach out to me through the email address advisor@Fulbright or through social media. Just you can leave a comment underneath this live stream and I will be happy to get back to you. You guys, thank you so much. I know that New York State is not just about New York City, and we just proved that. So guys, keep that in mind that there's so much more that New York has to offer. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you guys for joining me today. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.